Hi everybody, George back with another video. Today I'm going to do 10 of my favourite Canadian artists. Only have 20 I think I can find in my collection, so I'm going to do my favourite 10. Reason Canada? Well, my dad was born in Canada. My granddad from Edinburgh met my grandmother who was from Motherwell in Montreal, and they had kids and they came back to the UK probably, I don't know, my dad was maybe 6, 7, so maybe 1937 I think. Work was maybe hard to come by and lots of work here at the time. So 10 favourite artists. They're not really in any particular order. 3 big omissions in my collection of Canadians, and that is Leonard Cohen. Never owned any. I may in the future, not sure. Alanis Morissette, always meant to get one of her LPs, a big album, but still not got that. And maybe Diana Carroll, Elvis Costello's wife, but that's maybe one for the future too. So I'll just kick off and show 10 I've pulled from the 20 artists, and I mean there's a couple sort of obvious, and this is one. It's Joni Mitchell. This is her album Mingus. Gatefold. I think Joni done all the... Joni's an artist right enough, isn't she? And it's all her art. Goodbye pork pie hats on this. This particular album from 1979, and obviously not our probably our best album, but probably one of my favourite Joni Mitchell albums. And I like that where the artist who's traditionally a folk artist goes into jazz and does a bit of a jazz thing, as John Martin did. So one of my favourite Canadian artists would be Joni Mitchell, and this is Mingus, who she used quite a lot of his tracks, music on that, and put vocals too. It's on the Asylum label, UK copy. Next off we have Neil Young, obviously, couldn't be in any King of Canada. This is Harvest from '72, one of his best albums. I prefer the sort of acoustic side of Neil Young. And Reprise. But I do like his stuff with Crazy Horse, his rocking stuff. And he's done so much different stuff, electronic stuff and all different stuff through the ages. Most prolific artiste, Neil Young. Brilliant. Next up we have Gil Evans. Out of the Cool, the Gil Evans Orchestra. This LP is on Impulse Records. It's obviously a reissue from a year or two ago. Yeah, I mean, Gil Evans conducted most of the... Well, he done Kinda Blue for Miles Davis, and a few of his other LPs orchestrated on. He plays piano. We have Ron Carter on bass here, and Elvin Jones doing some of the percussion, and that's the lineup of the band, or how they sat. Yeah, a most influential man in orchestrating music and jazz, and a Canadian to heart, Gil Evans. Next off I'm going to show a guitarist, and his name is Michael Brook. And this is called Hybrid, and it's an album we done with Brian Eno and Daniel Lanois. This is on EG Records, probably from 85, 85. So Michael Brook, he's done a lot of different things. Again, he does a lot of like soundtrack work. Fantastic ambient guitarist in general. So look out for his work. You see Michael Brook, hybrid Michael Brook. I have another couple of his albums. A new artiste on the scene, showed her a couple of weeks ago, the last album I got first, but this is Dominique Phillips from Montreal. This is from 2018. This is the first album of 3. This is quite hard to pick up these days now. This, funnily enough, plays at 45. Only 8 tracks on this album. But she's a sort of jazz, quite ethnic-y sort of sounding, and our vocals are pretty layered. A small band combo, and our backing vocals are layered onto our main vocal. Real interesting character. I think her parents were from Haiti originally. That must pick up our last album from last year. That's Dominique Phillips. Good. And now a big standard is KD Lang, Enigma, or whatever it's called. 25th anniversary copy of this has replaced my original UK copy. So you get 2 albums with this. This is from 2017. The original was in the 90s, wasn't it? Was it 92? So this comes as a double album, and the second album, the main album is 10 tracks, and the second album is 8 of these tracks recorded for MTV Unplugged. Absolutely fantastic on Nonsuch Records. I mean, the main album, every song's a single. It's a greatest hits album, really, the main album, and she's absolutely fantastic. Seen her live, and just love her vocals. That's KD Lang, one of my favourites. So we'll get through these fast, just counting how many we've got to go. 1, 2, 3, is that 4? Ron Sexsmith, long player, late bloomer. This is from 2011, sorry. Gatefold. Ron Sexsmith's albums are, I've got all his vinyl albums, maybe didn't get his last one. But they're not made in massive, they're hard to come by a wee bit, I think. But what's happening with this album is that I think it's getting re-released on Record Store Day. So if you don't have any Ron Sexsmith, a great singer-songwriter, I wouldn't say this is his best album. It's a good album. Well, it's a very good album, but it's one of his best. But check Ron Sexsmith out. A real favourite of mine. Up from the bottom, we have Jeff Healey. I'm a big blues fan, so Jeff Healey's right in my wheelhouse there. Jeff Healey Band, this is from 1988. A blind guitarist. Unfortunately he's dead now. Brilliant guy. Again, if you like electric blues music, this is a must album. See the Light, which he was blind. The first track just comes out the blocks. Confidence Man. Blue Jean Blues, that was used in the film Roadhouse. Angel Eyes. Fantastic, fantastic album. Great favourite of mine, Jeff Healey Band. Number 2, We have The Arcade Fire and Funeral. Absolutely brilliant album. A classic for me. I was driving from Glasgow to Edinburgh and played it. Well, there's about 3 singles off this anyway, but they played one of the singles. Lakey, I think it was. And the guy was going, oh, this is the next great band. If you like Talking Heads, Bowie's raving about them and whatever. And I think they ended up on stage, maybe with the Talking Heads, David Byrne, I can't really remember. But this was first maybe the 4 or 5 LPs that I have. Their main man, they're based out in Montreal. Their main man, Will Butler, is an American guy, moved up to the States. I think his brother joined the band eventually too. But Arcade Fire, certainly the first album for me, is a new wave classic. And my favourite Canadian artist is Daniel Lanois, Arcade. Now this is a different cover from the original, which was released in, oh, I don't know, was it the 90s this was released? So this is a reissue just from 2013, it's saying. Daniel Lanois got his fame from working with Brian Eno, obviously, and I actually prefer the cover in the original album. I don't know why they've done this. 2 LP it's got outtakes on the second and demos and whatever on the second album. But Daniel Lanois, I just followed everything he'd done, so he produced a lot of albums, so really got me into Bob Dylan when he started doing Bob Dylan stuff, and just a host of artists. You can look him up, I'm sure most of you know what he's produced and whatever. This is sort of a mix of New Orleans style country. Daniel Lanois just got his own way of doing things, and the track The Maker for me is just, if you sample The Maker, if you've not played that, heard that, Still Water's fantastic. It does a wee version of Amazing Grace at the end. Just a great fusion of New Orleans music, and I think that was his French influence. He stayed in New Orleans for a while and done a bit producing there. So that's Daniel Lanois, Arcade, my favourite Canadian artiste. Okay, doc, just a wee quickie. Catch you around. Cheers, VC.